What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here for this Sunday morning week in review, recapping any news and notes from the previous week that I may or may not have commented on or want to expound upon, and then quickly moving through the key major markets in the sports card world. Not too crazy of a week this week. The biggest thing probably was the PSA bulk announcement at $22 per card. Did the breaking news red alert video on that the other day when that came down the pipe. It's fine. You know, it just feels weird off the heels of the $18 one. The general sentiment seems to be kind of meh. Like, people are going to use it, but I don't know. The $2.99 or the $1.99 declared value, rather, I think is what really kind of has people meh on it. I mean, that being said, you could cheat that a little bit. You know, if you send a $250, $300 card, it's probably going to be fine. I had a lot of people tell me they're just going to send everything that they would send at the $30 level at the $22 level and let PSA upcharge them, essentially, which is a valid strategy as well if it's not something that you need back immediately. You know, they're saying 4 to 5 month turnaround time. I fully expect them to actually beat that time, to be quite honest. I know people in the comments will be mad. But I have a feeling they are under promising with the eyes towards over delivering here. I know that the backlog is still not 100% clear yet. There are still some orders hanging out there, but I think it is getting damn close to being completely finished. And I expect to see that announcement any day now, at least for the bulk of the orders. I think when I listened to the PSA podcast on Friday, they made it sound like it was essentially mostly done, except for a handful of orders and like some... They didn't say like the word problem accounts, but I kind of got the idea that it was like there was some other issues going on. I hope it's not like payment issues or anything like that with group submitters or anything crazy. They did not say that. That's just me kind of like speculating a little bit. But I think we are down towards the end on that backlog. And now it's, you know, will the other companies react at all? Everyone's obviously looking at SGC for that one, as people to continue to speculate on will they or won't they move the price. Once again, you know, I've said this a bunch. Everyone's begging for them to change their price, and I get that, but, you know, we don't know the books. They might be doing quite well as a business at $30 a card. We don't know. If they are, they could be very content to sticking where they're at. But it's probably all going to depend on how submissions levels shift now that PSA has rolled out the new pricing for that. The other grading company news thing was, and the only reason I'm even mentioning this is because I got a bunch of questions about it in the tag video that I did the other day, is everyone and their sister is talking about this arena club that Derek Jeter's part of. It seems whatever. It seems fine, I guess. I don't particularly see the use for another grading company in the marketplace. It seems too little too late. Tech-wise, they really didn't, other than, you know, images with neon green bars on them, they really didn't dig into like the tech on how this stuff's being graded. Like, full credit to Tag, at least they did show us that. So between the two, if you're asking me to pick between Arena Club and Tag, which one I'm more intrigued by, I'm more intrigued by Tag. One, I think the holder looks better. Some of the security features and stuff like that look better. The grading report looks better. Arena Club just feels like, I don't know, it feels fine. I just personally just don't see a reason to ever send them a card, to be quite honest, when I have the 4 big ones already out there. So that's kind of my general take on Arena Club. Yeah, they're doing the full grader notes thing, I guess, kinda, but I don't know. It's just not. Something feels off about it to me. We'll see. Time will tell. We'll see what happens there. So, with that being said, that pretty much covers most of the news stuff. I mean, there's been like drama junk out there, but I feel like that's already been beaten. I don't feel like beating that dead horse. So, if you want to dig into that stuff, you know, go check out Sports Card Radio or whatever. But I don't think there's anything there that I really need to necessarily dive into, if you will. So let's transition over to market movers here and look at some charts and graphs. Quick note, I mentioned it last week about doing a version of this video that is kind of non-sports card / comic book / Marvel card related. I believe I'm going to give that a whirl tomorrow. So I think we're going to debut that tomorrow on Monday, kind of like a return to Marvel Mondays, I guess, if you will, and see how it goes. I don't know if it's going to be weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. I would like to aim for weekly, but I'm just not 100% sure yet. So I've actually done quite a bit of research for that video already, because I was planning on getting it out this week, but just other stuff got in the way and some other videos popped up that I wanted to do instead in a more timely manner. So I ended up pushing that towards Monday. And I'm going to try to do one every Monday. Like I said, we'll kind of see how it goes. It'll probably take me a couple weeks to kind of get my footings on it and find my bearings with it. But so expect Monday morning, at least tomorrow anyway. And once again, we'll see how she does. A non-sports / Marvel card / maybe a comic book or two, maybe a little MTG sealed wax, like that kind of chit-chat stuff. It'll probably be a little slightly different format than this one, just because there'll be less market movers involved, but that'll be the general gist of that. The other thing that I have planned, just while we're kind of talking about next week, at some point in time, probably later in the week, I would like to do a full wrap-up on Spider-Man Metal. And what I mean by that is, I kind of want to take a little bit of a different approach to this. I've sold off a lot of the singles that I pulled that I wanted to move off of. So I kind of want to walk you through my price per box, what I sold everything for, kind of what I have left, and kind of take it a step further and show you content-wise how much of that I earned back. So it's like, I spent $950 on the boxes. I sold the singles for X amount. I made X amount of videos. I got X amount of views. I sold off X amount of singles. I made X amount of YouTube revenue, gained X amount of subscribers, like that sort of stuff. I think a lot of people do the recaps like that, but from a content creator standpoint, I have an ever slow, which I think you guys kind of be surprised by it, a very, very slight advantage that I earn a little bit of revenue back from actually opening boxes. So I'm going to kind of take you guys and girls under the hood and kind of show you like a next level breakdown of, ROI on ripping wax from just reselling it. And also, I'm using very heavy air quotes here, the content creator edge of being able to record it and post a video on it. So I think there's some intriguing numbers because one of those videos did extremely well. So, but we'll talk about that. I'll do a full breakdown video that I've already kind of worked out in my head how I want to do it. So let's go ahead and dive into market movers. Enough chit chat. Once again, link in the description down below with a promo code down there. Get your first month for $1. They have a bunch of different pricing options now if you want access to your own fancy charts and graphs. And Market Movers X is coming soon. I believe they were previewing it at the Dallas Card Show, which reminds me, Dallas Card Show going on this weekend. I did get a couple reports from people. Shout out to them. You guys and girls know who you are. That DM me every time a Dallas show goes on. Heard Friday was slow. Saturday was very busy to start. I did not get an end of the day update, and that football was what everyone was looking for. Not surprising on the eve of the season. But I do feel like we'll be transitioning into NBA pretty quickly here. And I can tell you from the Ship Shawana show too, which I guess I could touch on this before we move into charts and graphs as well, because I really haven't formally talked about it. I discussed it a little bit on the live stream. Ship show last weekend, very busy, very, very busy. Both the trade night and the show. I personally did not buy or sell a lot of stuff. Most of the things that I was looking at, I thought the dealers were a little high priced on. And, as I've said countless times before, there are two shows going on. There is the show of the people that are priced correctly and they are moving stuff. And there is the show of the people that are not priced correctly and they are not moving stuff. A couple of the dealers that I talked to at Dallas echoed the exact same thing. If people were priced and willing to move at current market prices, they were selling tons of stuff. If you are not willing to play at current market prices, you are not going to sell. Buyers are way too smart. to pay way over or pay comps from 6 months ago. It's just not the way it works right now. Buyers are way too smart for that nonsense. So that's kind of the quick little show report. Should have included that at the beginning of the video. Just struck me as we were kind of moving through here. So speaking of which, football is back. It is back. We had our first game, official game. Bills manhandled the Rams. Josh Allen looked amazing. Stephon Diggs looked amazing. If you had either one of them in fantasy, you probably had a pretty good week, along with Gabe Davis. Card-wise, I was curious to see if there'd be like overreaction meter theater here, and a bunch of stuff would go crazy because it was like the primetime spotlight game. So we'll look at some individual players there. Generally speaking, the football, we're looking at Market Pulse here, last 30 days. It's basically been pretty flat to down. Ultra Modern's down 5%. Modern's down 1%, basically, in the last 30 days leading up to the season starting. So nothing too crazy there. Looking at some individual players, Josh Allen stuff did shift a little bit, but it didn't get too crazy compared to how it would have like 2 years ago if we were in the same market. You can see here I have price movement by card up, then sorted by Josh Allen, PSA 10s. A Contenders rookie ticket had a big jump in price, 20% increase. His base optic, his base prism, a 10 and 20% jump. The big thing that you notice, not huge price swings, basically 5 to 20% was the most, but you did see major movement. Look at the volume changes. So this is over the last 7 days. So this is the volume the last 7 days compared to the previous 7 days. So a 225% increase on his Prism base PSA 10. I know you're probably saying, Prism base, we're way beyond that. Don't forget, 2018 Prism base is a completely different animal than current Prism base. Josh Allen's PSA 10 Prism is only pop 1600. That's a lot, but it's not Prism basketball where you're in the 15, 20,000s on some of these cards. 2018 football was an entirely different beast. That's why the Prism base still sells pretty well. You can see his Prism base goes for $723. That's still a pretty decent number. Even his optic base is only pop 1500. That goes for $550. So 2018 base is a little bit of a different entity. Kind of keep that in mind when you're looking at 2018 stuff. So we'll see where the numbers go from here. If he has another big week, I would imagine that this continues to slightly trend up, but not like a huge pop, if you will, for the old Josh Allen. But I think that's actually fine. A 10% increase off a big primetime game where he smacks around the Rams, that feels fine to me. It's not unreasonable. It feels about what it should be like, at least in my mind anyway. A couple other things. Stephon Diggs obviously had a monster game. He does not have a lot graded, so I just looked at raw cards. Nothing really crazy happened here. Couple bucks. The purple color match went up 100% from $4 to $20. But no real crazy, couple dollars on each card. Really good, underrated player, but not really any types of huge price swings here on him. Move over to basketball next, just kind of before we do close out football really quick here. It will be interesting today, once again, as you guys and girls are watching this, depending on when you are, you know, someone is going to come out of the woodwork today, probably a quarterback, have a really big day, Baker Mayfield, and shred a team out of nowhere, and their prices are probably going to get a little crazy. We'll see what happens. I don't know who it's going to be, but someone that is super cheap and probably doesn't have a ton of money thrown around on their cards is going to have a monster game, and their cards are probably going to pop off. It's just kind of a nature of the beast. It'll be interesting to see, I think, next week when we look at this, what the movements look like based off of performance, play, injury. Good chance a big name gets hurt tomorrow. It's football. It's bound to happen. It just is. And then what happens to the card prices from there? So we'll kind of see what happens. Kind of a very wait and see approach. Should be a fun week one. I'm super excited to just assume the position on the chair for the day. Sit back, relax, watch some football, watch some fantasy lineups, and just kind of be back in football. Northeast Ohio tomorrow, it's supposed to be in the low 70s with some rain. So it'll be good weather to crack the windows and just kind of lay there and enjoy the almost fall-like temperatures. Basketball, we are basically here. Mid-October is only about a month and a half away, not even a month and a half away, really. And then NBA season is upon us. We're only a couple weeks away from training camp opening up. We had the Donovan Mitchell trade recently. Last 30 days, not much movement on the indexes. Ultra Modern down 2%, Modern down about 4%. We'll see if things start picking up once we get through. I think it's going to take like a week or two of football to kind of work its way on everyone's system. And then everyone the ISR on will turn its gaze over to the NBA as that season begins to ramp up a little bit. Euro basketball is going on right now. Luka and Giannis and Jokic are just tearing things apart over there. Some ridiculous Luka highlights coming in from over there. I was a little curious. I pulled up a bunch of silver prisms of kind of like the young crop of next level stars. I got Ja, Zion, Trey, Luka, Tatum, and Ant-Man. All PSA 10 silver prisms, all going back 90 days, which takes us to about mid-June, kind of right in the wind down of the NBA playoffs. And I was curious how their prices performed since then. Essentially, other than Trae Young, everyone just hates Trae Young. Everyone is in the green. Zion's up 15% over the offseason. Ja's up 6%. Luka's up 10% over the offseason. Trae Young's down 17%. Tatum's up 10%. And Ant-Man is up 20%. Full disclosure, I own a lot of Trae Young, not silver prisms. I have like Optic Hollow 10, Prism Mosaic Color Match. Maybe one. Actually, I don't own that many Trae Youngs. Like 2 or 3 cards probably. It feels like the hate might have gone a little too far on him. They're going to be pretty good with DeJounte Murray. Get a healthy year out of DeAndre Hunter. They still have John Collins on that team, Clint Capella. They have Bojan. But regardless, they have a pretty good starting lineup and a pretty decent bench. I think it's going to be a very interesting fight between them and the Cavs as we move throughout the NBA playoff or NBA season into the NBA playoffs and kind of what the rankings look like. But that team's set up to succeed. Trae Young and DeJounte Murray are going to be no joke in the backcourt together. I know Trae has his warts, but of all the guys on this list, the fact that he's only $500 is just kind of surprising to me when you really look at it. But we'll see what happens once the NBA season fires up. But just kind of wanted to do a quick little check-in here and kind of see what these guys are doing. Post-Mitchell trade, we do finally have some numbers to kind of see how things have shaken out. Once again, I think if he would have went to the Knicks, these would have popped off a little bit more, but he did end up moving. His market did end up shifting a decent amount. This is PSA 10s. This is over the last 14 days since that trade was over a week ago. I went back a little bit further. And you could see some pretty decent price bumps here. 58% increase on his Mosaic, 40% on his Prism Silver, 30% on his Prism Base, 32% on some Select Base, Optic Shocks 20%, Base Optic 15%. But regardless, you see a lot of green on this chart. So he definitely got a bump up on quite a few things. And also pretty big volume changes. 107% increase on his Prism Base from the previous 14 days. So things definitely moving. I picked up the one Mitchell card that I did on the mail day video on Friday. I'm pretty happy with that. And then tangentially to him, I was curious, did Garland move at all? And yeah, Garland did too. Not as much, but you still see a lot of 30%, 20%, 15%. Like his Prism Silver, 20% increase over what it was doing the previous 14 days. Usually it sits right around 250. It got up to 300. And then some of his more rare stuff, we see the blue out of 199 took a nice little bump up. Greens put a little bit of a bump up. Select Courtsides took a little bump up. I actually think the trade, it's going to help the Cavs overall. It's probably going to hurt Garland's numbers a little bit, just because both those guys sharing the ball a little bit between each other. I think it could have a little bit of a negative impact on Garland's numbers. I think it'll be a positive improvement for his overall play. But if you're just looking at a stat sheet, his numbers will probably get hurt a little bit, at least on the scoring side of things. But we'll see how it shakes out. Who knows? Who knows? Moving right along, baseball. The sport that no one really cares about right now, unless you're a Yankees fan and watch Judge chase the record. Baseball's just in a really weird spot. It feels like 3 guys matter. Judge, Ohtani, and J-Rod. I know that there's like a lot of other prospects coming up and doing stuff, and it's that time of year. But card wise, it doesn't feel like, unless it's a prospect of actual current players, it just feels like no one cares about anyone other than those three guys. The ultra modern baseball market is down 12% over the last 30 days, and modern is down or up 5.5% over the last 30 days. So the baseball market itself has just been kind of meh, and really that 0.5% on the modern is basically all Aaron Judge is essentially carrying that entire market. A couple quick little things I wanted to dive into on the Judge front. You can see his stuff's just kind of going nutty. This is over the last 14 days. Bowman Chrome BGS 9.5 up 47% from 1,700 to 2,500. Bowman Draft Auto Refractor up 30%. His Update Refractor up 30%. Topps Heritage Photo Variation up about 10%, a $90 increase. There's just, his stuff's just in the green all over the place, justifiably so, as he just continues to smack home runs left and right. The playoff race is very interesting. My Indians are in it, trying to slip in, but they didn't make any trade deadline deals, and their offense is terrible, so I don't know if they're going to be able to actually make it or not. I think it's going to come down to the wire with them. And then last but not least, I just kind of wanted to do a little check-in here. The Mike Trout 2011 Topps Update. Boy, has this card just gotten hammered. This is over the last 180 days, so it takes it back to mid-spring training. This card's down 42%. Back in March, this card was regularly selling for anywhere from 27 to 3K, and right now it's down to a little over 1,500 bucks. Obviously, Trout had a good start to the season, and then things kind of come off the wagon as the Angels fell apart. He's got some back injury issues now that's out there. Just a really weird spot for them as the Angels continue to kind of basically just suck every year, essentially. And it really is a shame that you have Trout and Ohtani on the same team and you just cannot figure out a way to win. I wouldn't be surprised if this card continues to go down. Trout's still really, really good, but he's still never done anything in the postseason. I'm one of the people that kind of hold that against him a little bit. And it feels like the window is closing on him. When these baseball guys go off the cliff, it feels like it happens fast. Now, when he's performing at a high level, but I worry that he's just starting to fall apart. We'll see as time rolls on here, but we'll also see if the Angels can ever actually get their heads out of their butts and have a winning season. It would be nice. So, I don't know. That's all I have for you guys and girls today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a nice, wonderful first full NFL day of the season. Sit back, relax, enjoy, take in all the games. I have a very interesting one today with Baker versus the Browns. Prediction, I think Baker wrecks us. That's my prediction for that game. Someone asked me the other day, how many Baker Mayfield cards do I have left? The answer to that question is 1. I have 1. I mean, I probably have like some second year, like $3 cards laying around. But the only thing of significance is a Optic Holo PSA 10. That is the last one that I have left. I'm probably just going to ride or die with that card. If he has a big game, I may end up posting it tomorrow. We'll see. But that's all I have left for Baker Mayfield stuff. So, like, comment, subscribe on the way out the door. Enjoy your football, and we will catch you tomorrow for a little non-sports card / Marvel card / comic book update. Peace.